Hello, viewers. It's yet another time for your amazing podcast. We're here at the Open Table, and as always, I'm here with my ladies, but we have our very first guest. I'm going to do proper introduction, but as always, I have with me
Okay.
and
Osas.
Izo. So you're welcome to the show. I would like you to give us a wave, a high five, tell us where you're viewing us from, and we will definitely respond to you. And don't forget to subscribe, to like, and share. And I want to say a special thank you to all our new subscribers and returning subscribers. We appreciate you. And those that always go ahead to comment, oh, we love you. Thank you so much. So let's dive into it. So we have our guest. Her name is Queen Esther, and she is a graduate of one of the tertiary institutions here in Canada. So we want to, find out from her what the experience was like, and I know you will enjoy it. So just stick around, don't go anywhere, leave your comment, and you will learn a lot from today's show. So Queen Esther, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How do you like the open table? Let me start with that.
Well, I want to say a very big thanks for giving me the opportunity to come and speak here. Thank you so much.
So when you arrived Canada for your tertiary education, what was the first thing when the aircraft doors opened? What was the first thing that struck your mind?
I remember this day when I arrived to Canada. I was just like, everybody's so nice. That was the first thing I remember. I remember calling one of my family friends and saying, "Oh, Favor, my goodness, these people are so nice. They have manners." Like, that was the first word I said. Like, they were like, "Oh, go this way. Oh, this way. Is there way I can help you?" Like, it's like, this is how Canada is. Yeah, I was just like, everybody was so everybody was welcoming. They were so nice. Yeah, that was the first day I arrived to Canada, and that was Toronto.
So
Yes.
when did the homesickness, when did that kick in? Or did it even kick in?
Oh, yeah, it did. Yes. It did. That was when I was trying to settle in, because I came in as a student. I came in through the student visa route. So I was trying to balance my classes because I came in a bit late. Yeah. So I was trying to know my classes. I was trying to know my instructors. I was trying to know the materials I was supposed to have. So at that moment, I was like, I want to go back home. Aww. I had to call my mom and I said, no, I didn't know this was not my plan.
It was quite overwhelming.
Honestly, it's worse. Like, I was like, why is it looking like this? Mom was like, relax, chill, calm down. You've not even spent up to 1 week, 2 weeks. You already go, like, I want to come. Maybe we should book flights for me to return. Honestly, because I wasn't feeling like myself anymore.
Right.
It was overwhelming. The classes, the way they teach, the accents.
Okay, so do you want to balance that against because you schooled back home in Nigeria?
Yes, I went to Kwara State.
Can you balance? So what was different? Was it that the lecturing was harder, or getting your courses was harder? What exactly was the difference that made you home?
So there at Kwara State University, Nigerian universities in general, we kind of take like 6, 7, 8 classes a semester. Like, the courses you're taking, your professors, your class, that kind of thing. But here, it was like you have to register your classes ahead. If you don't, you won't be able to enroll yourself. So you need to register ahead. You need to know the classes. You need to know you need to get familiar with those courses even before you register.
Right.
So that was the difference. And you could just imagine taking 2, 3 classes. Is 2, 3 classes here looks like 7, 8 classes in Nigeria. Like, it's so heavy. When you tell people back home in Nigeria that I'm taking 3 classes, like, just 3. I'm like, don't be like that. Don't do that. Like, it's heavy. It's quite heavy. So the system there in Nigeria is quite different. Like, you already are aware, you know what you're going to meet. But this one is as if you have to prep.
Yeah.
You have to prepare ahead. The registration is different. You need to be aware of the courses you want to take, like get familiar with it before you just register those classes.
Yeah.
And also the professors too. And you need to know if those classes are for 100 level or 200 level. I remembered one of my friends here where she was taking 200 level classes in 100 level because she didn't know.
Oh, wow.
She didn't know. She was just mixing it. Just as if the classes are there, you just choose. But you're supposed to take 100 level classes. There are prerequisite courses you need to take before taking the main ones. Exactly. So these were things I didn't know, and they were overwhelming for me. And also how to email professors. Well, it's not I don't know how to email a professor, but it was the overthinking. Like, how do I email this professor? Am I saying the right thing the right way? That kind of thing. So nobody prepared me for it. So,
I can identify a little bit because I took some postgraduate courses. So normally, like if you get into 100 level in a Nigerian university, all the courses that you're already going to do is all outlined for you.
Yeah.
But here is like a pool. So you have to pull from it how many you think you have the capacity to
take here.
Yeah. And nobody really tells you how intense it is. Because like in Nigeria, you can just say, oh, I'm not going to class. I would explain it. They will say, I will blow awoko. Awoko means I would not go to class, but close to the exam, I'll be reading back to back, pulling an all-nighter just to be able to write the exam. But here, they give you assignments every week, group assignments. They give you have to be in constant interaction with your lecturer. Like in Nigeria, you can go through a whole course and not see the
but not in all situations. Some
Yeah.
school you need to meet up some certain percentage of attendance before you can before you can write the exams.
Oh, really?
But I think one thing from what you have said, both of said, is like when you are for an international student, maybe because of the way we are tutored back home, there's a lot of hand holding. Over here and in maybe international schools outside Nigeria or Africa, there's no hand holding. You are supposed to like be responsible for everything you're gonna do. So if you are not up to the task and informed, you make a lot of bad decisions. Because I remember when some students came in some time ago, my husband was the one sharing with me, and they didn't know, they weren't aware about the number of courses. Just like Queen has just said, that some people do almost 5 courses, 6 courses back in Nigeria, as in one semester.
We have fixed
and
classes.
You just be like, oh, that's a lot compared to here where you do 3 and it's like so voluminous. So some parents came in with their children came in and they were like, why are you taking only 3 courses? No, try and do it faster, make up to 4 courses. And he had to educate them because he was aware of, it was like, those 4 courses would turn you into a mad person because you're going to be biting more than you can chew. So they had to like tone it down. Just take 2 courses. Don't be in a hurry. Don't rush. You'll catch up. You'll meet up. And then know the courses you write. And I think that helped. So people should not bite more than they can chew you have to be aware.
So question for you, Queen. When you come in, is there like a guardian counselor, somebody like a course counselor that helps people know what to do, like gives them some kind of soft landing, or you just get thrown into deep waters and you decide as you go?
Okay, each schools, every university, every institution here has got an academic advisor.
Right, that's what's called.
Okay. But the thing is, if you don't know, you don't know. You have to search for one. Like for me, I didn't know we had like an academic advisor that you could meet, until when you start asking questions, when you speak up and tell them like, oh, this is what I'm facing. I don't know what I'm doing with my courses, that kind of thing. And then people will be like, oh, you need to meet an academic advisor. Then you'll be like, okay, so we have an academic advisor. So in my own case, well, I didn't really know on time, though I was able to ask, a few questions like, okay, how do I balance my courses and all of that? And I was guided here. Okay. So I was able to meet with an academic advisor and then she helped me out. Then I was able to come up with a course I was able to take because I wanted taking law here. Because I was a law student in Nigeria then. Okay. So they were like, okay, you need to undergo the 4 years program, do very well, have a very strong GPA before you go into law here. Exactly.
Or into law, not even so.
Not the law school. Start all over. Yes, you have to start all over. Yes. So I met with the academic advisor. After asking questions, like you need to speak. So many students don't speak up. They don't talk. So I had to ask questions like, okay, I'm struggling with my courses. I don't know if I'm actually taking the right course and all of that. I asked a few questions there. Yeah. I was able to have a good relationship with my professors. Well, okay, that was a good thing.
Don't you think it's also a reflection of how we do our own schooling system? Because here you're encouraged to talk with your course advisor, your
professors, your instructors. But here
back home, before you even see the professor, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can go through the whole course here and you never get an interaction with your lecturer. So do you think that is also a contributing factor when students come here and they feel that, oh, I don't want the lecturer to know me, I don't want to talk.
Okay. Firstly, I want every international student to have it at the back of their mind that everybody here is willing to help.
Right.
The academic advisors, the Student Help Center, even your instructors, they are willing to help. Over 75-80% are willing to support you whenever they hear your struggle as a student, whether international or not, they're willing to help. So it's just left for you to speak up.
Okay.
So the good thing is I was able to have a good relationship with all my instructors. That was the good thing there. So at least I was able to ask my instructor, like, okay, I don't know if I'm actually taking the right course. Do I register this from Nigeria? But And they were like, okay, you need to see an academic advisor. They'll be the one to guide you. So that was how I was able to have access to academic advisor. And then she brought up all the courses that I could take, like, okay, what were you taking in Nigeria? What would you like to take? And then that was how I found myself in sociology, because I wanted to go into advocacy, into advocating for youth, Yeah. So I was able to take sociology. And then she's like, okay, if you do very well here, you can take law, that kind of thing. So yeah. Okay. You should just speak up.
Sas, you wanted to say something.
Oh yeah.
I could tell. I could totally tell.
In addition to what she has said, and to answer that question, I don't think it's because it depends on the school each person goes to. Some schools you are able to interact and relate with your lecturers.
Right.
So if it's a professor, sometimes you're talking about maybe the dean of faculty or HOD. Of course, it depends on the level of that person's status in the university and department. But if it's just the lecturer 1, lecturer 2, I think many say that some schools.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it varies from school to school. However, I think naturally, back from where we grew up from maybe Nigeria, Africa, many people were trained to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
So even by our training, not even only for school teachers, we are trained to be, unfortunately, to an extent, it impacts negatively on our kids when we don't know, to be a little bit timid, because you have this high level of regard, high level of respect. It's not like you don't, you still don't regard lecturers here, but that level of regard, you don't want to you want to respect them by being very subservient, and that impacts you being able to interact one-on-one, speak freely. So when maybe that impact on when international students like that come to this kind of country where you don't know that you are free. Even it affects even we that are not students to our places of work, to talk to our supervisors, our managers. Sometimes maybe it's on your home training. You want to have some kind of level of training, tone down on your, your way of talking. And then you see your other colleagues who might not be even up to your age. And they are very bold. They are very upfront with discussing with the manager, throwing banters. And you're like, wow, I wish I could be this bold. So it's not just an international student.
I think I resonate with that, because I'm going to tell a funny story. So I remember the very first place I worked, and we had a potluck, and afterwards the manager was cleaning. My manager was the one cleaning. I told like, oh, he said, no, it's my terrain. I have to do it. And in my head, I'm like,
no, I didn't manage. It will never happen where I came from.
They will say something like, those of us that are from Bendel that are very rich in pidgin they will say, hold my picture, not in your house. Or they'll make you feel somehow for not. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. So we'll come back to our topic. That was a digression.
What was your relationship with your course mate? Like, because I know in your class you have people from different cultural background, different countries, and I know workplaces people welcome you, like they want to help you. This is how we do things here. Were they welcoming, facing all those challenges? Did you talk to anyone? Were they willing to support you?
So let me start with this. I'm going to give the difference between university and polytechnic because I went to both.
Right.
And both programs run differently in terms of interacting with your course mates.
Oh.
For the university part, you just come into the class, you won't even say hello to your course mates because the students there in the class are actually taking different courses.
Oh.
So we just have like similar like mutual courses that we take. Like for example, I'm a sociology student and I'm taking economics. We have psychology students that are taking economics.
Oh, I see.
So that kind of thing. So you just come in, listen, and then leave. It's not let for you. You know where the shoe. You know where it's itching you. You want to interact with like, okay, hi, sorry, I'm pretty new here. I don't know how this works, that kind of thing. But other than that, everybody just mind their business. Except you meet your fellow Black people and you're like, hi, I'm Esther. I don't know, I'm new here. I don't know what you're taking. I need help in that kind of thing before you're able to make friends. But other than that, everybody mind your business. That's how the university runs most of the time.
Right.
So people are lucky to have same people taking their course in the same class. But of course, you have to take that step by opening up. If not, you won't know. But in Polytechnic, I took CC at Saskatchewan Polytechnic, continuing care assistant. So everybody in the class all taking the same
continuous care assistant.
Yeah, exactly. So in Polytechnic, like most classes, so the Polytechnic system, guys are really literally taking the same classes, seeing the same professors. You guys are seeing yourself Monday to Friday, morning till night. So you're able to have you guys bond more than the university.
I see.
Okay. Yes, that's the difference.
Thank you. I didn't know that. Okay, so we'll talk about homesickness and all that came out of that. So what was culture shock for you when you came? What was the first thing? I know you said Canada people are all nice.
Yeah, because of they were so welcoming. You know, they were like,
did you experience any cultural shock? Something that you saw and you got startled at all?
Like the example you gave here when you saw how some people were very upfront.
Right.
That was amazing to me because where I'm coming from, you dare not speak to. You can't even look at your elder right up. You have to put your head down. So when I see students talking to their professors and they're giving this, I'm like, okay. That was a shock. I was like, okay, so this is how people talk. So, and then I see, it started happening a couple of times. I'm like, okay, that was one for me. And then the other one was the friendship part of it. When you hang out with your friends, you buy your food, your friend buys food. In Nigeria, because I'm a Nigerian, where we are coming from, if you hang out with your friends, most of the time, if you're the one initiating the date, you get the stuff for you and yourself and your partner. Right. But here, if we're going for like a dinner, coffee date, I'll get my coffee, whether you're the one inviting me or not. So
that was a big culture shock.
Yes!
I remember when at work, we were invited for a kind of hangout.
Yeah.
So it was all colleagues and everything. Although somebody had prepared me stylishly for it, a fellow Nigerian at work too. Like, oh, she's never going for any outing because this and this happened. But it still shocked me because when we got there, we were all ordering, but somehow I had to pay for my own. I was like, well, you guys were all like, oh, can we have a hangout or something? I thought there was going to be a common pause where the payment will made. And then it was another one that had to do with somebody's retirement party, like a send forth.
Yeah, send forth.
Like, and I was thinking it was going to be organized by my department because, they're going to pay for it. Only for us to get to the venue, we all sat there and everybody's still paying. I'm like, am I the one? No, it looked odd, but I've gotten used to it now.
I had that experience, just the same send forth thing. And that day I actually brought lunch. So So when they sent it on the team's message that, oh, we're having sent for so and so person, I was like, okay, I'll keep my lunch to the side and then go do this. And they ordered from some restaurant. Didn't really like the food, but I was like, okay, well, go and eat free food. And then, like an hour or two later on, they were like, pay the money. I was like, oh my God. I'm eating my lunch.
I was my lunch.
I thought I said I didn't like the food like that. So what was it?
I had
I
had it too. I had that experience. Sorry. I had that experience. It was a new job for me and it was close to Christmas. Like I think I joined them in November and they were planning this Christmas party, bowling and everything. That was why I went. I didn't go with my wallet. I didn't go with anything. Actually, they paid for the bowling. But while we were bowling, people were having drinks and people. That was when I saw people tapping their card. I did not even have my card on me, nothing. So I called my husband and I said, oh my, I'm screwed. Like, and don't go. Are you not having a drink? And people were just coming to me. The fact that I was even new, they were trying to make me comfortable. Have a drink, have a cup of drink or something like that. I called my husband and said, I'm screwed today. My husband said, why not talk to your manager? So I walked up to her and said, oh, Joy, do you mind, like I forgot my wallet at home. Do you mind paying for my drink? I'll just transfer it. And I was like, but she did eventually take the money back. But like I was really embarrassed.
This was the same thing that happened to me.
Like I didn't go with wallet or card.
That's the good side when you were making reference to comedians are nice.
Yeah. But she said that when we got to work the next day, I asked her for her details. She said, no, don't, never mind. That's a welcome one for you, never mind. But like I felt embarrassed when people were actually buying and
yeah, that was what happened to me too. This one after we just finished our quiz. So my classmate, this was even at the Polytechnic, my classmate was like, hey, Queenie, are you hanging out with us? We're going to eat. I was like, okay. In my head, I'm like, Uncle want to buy food for everyone. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And they're all dressed. I was even talking to my friends on the phone, like, oh, you guys see, I'm going to eat. And then we got there. And then the girl was like, we want to eat. I was like, what do you want? Me. And I was not like, oh, I want this one. I want this one. Do you want this one again? I said, yes. Hey, it's time to pay. I said, Queen. I said, Jesus. I said, come, let's go outside. I said, you didn't tell me that. We said, what do you mean? I said, Jesus, you did not tell me.
I'm gonna pay.
I said, when did you tell me that tonight? I said, no, I'm going to be inviting myself maybe to pay. He was like, are you serious? I said, oh, this guy's going to embarrass. So I'm not going to lie. That was very embarrassing.
Yeah,
so after, holding your phone, like, hey guys, see,
I'm balling.
Oh, yeah.
I need a soft life. And now you have to go pay.
It may be probably more than what you budget to afford, right?
Exactly. And the sad thing was that I was just like, yes, I'm going to eat this one. Yes, I want to try this one.
Yeah.
So like, I was just... that was not cute at all.
So that's so hilarious. So our viewers, have you ever, as those of them that are students among our subscribers and viewers, if you've had this experience, can you put it in the comment section? We would love to hear your own funny story, because I know for us immigrants, it's a culture shock, like big time culture shock. Especially if you start eating things, you just like, oh, free food, let me just buy. You might end up emptying your pocket. I'm going to move on to my next question. Were there financial challenges with schooling in a tertiary institution here in Canada?
Yes.
Okay, so you care to elaborate on that?
Okay. I'll start with the tuition part of it, which is the common one. Here, international tuition is very high, like pretty expensive. And it happens to be like every year the tuition increases, like they add extra money. I remembered when I started USACs, 3 classes, my dad paid 5,000 plus. And then the following year, it was 7,000.
Oh, wow.
Just for 3. And then the following year, it was 9,000. So the money keeps increasing, like it keeps increasing. So for tuition, like I said, they increase the money every year by year. And then you have to work to pay if, it's more than your parents' budget, or it's more, exactly, if you're the one training yourself, it's more than your budget, you have to double. your hustle, literally.
So the one that is more impactful is the tuition.
Is the tuition
and housing.
And housing.
What about books? Is it?
Books is not really that, but we can check Facebook Market, able to get
online.
You can Facebook Market to get, more affordable books. You can read online. You can share textbook with your friends and ask people like, oh, did you take this course while you were in school? I can use your textbook and all of that. I think that one is it's easy to access. Yeah.
Okay, so how did all of this affect your mental health? Or did it affect your mental health? Let me rephrase.
It did. When I newly came in, trying to settle in, getting to know that, okay, things are increasing and I have to work. Because then I was telling my parents that, Daddy, the school fees has increased too. I was like, okay, the extra money you have to also that one. Yeah. So I was trying to balance academic and work. So it was really messy because I was not able to manage because it was too much. I was taking sociology, and imagine taking sociology, you have papers to write. Our assignments then were paper-based. So, and then you have due date 11:59 and you have to meet up. If you don't meet up, it's like you fail that course, or they'll deduct some mark from it. And you have to work. And as an international student, we are being given some certain number of hours to work, which is like 20 hours. So you want to make sure that you're able to get 20 hours. Your hours is able to pay your rent, get groceries, and maybe save for the extra money Daddy said you should work. Wow. Exactly. But if Daddy is able to pay the remaining extra money, like I said, my daddy was like, okay, this is the amount I'm gonna, pay, and then the extra one. I didn't plan for this because my dad is the kind of person that works with budget.
Yeah.
I didn't plan for this. So you have to take the responsibility. Like, he doesn't even have to tell me, I already know. Like, I have to take the initiative of working, to pay the remaining ones. So that was what it was for me. So it actually messed me up mentally because this was, it was new to me, having to work to pay off and then reduce your expenses. Like, as a girl, well, you have to take care of yourself. Exactly.
Our viewers understand.
You have to take care of yourself. You have to look good, clothing, skincare,
your hair,
everything. It's pretty expensive.
So let me ask this. So I'm listening to you and I'm thinking to myself that I know that there are people that come to school here, tertiary school, but they come with their family.
Okay.
And so do you think it's easier on the single student than the married student, or it's easier on the married student than the single student? I'm just thinking.
Is it the international based or
international with
PR?
Yes.
Is it no students? International students.
Yeah. Because some of them come
with their family.
Right? Some of them get the student visa and come, and then maybe it's the woman that is a student and then comes with the husband and children. And then they're having to grapple with all of these things, challenges, as well as taking care of family. And so what do you think?
Okay.
Does you want to say something about that?
So your question is it the same
thing? Do you think it's the same? Easier on the single student against the married, or easier on the married against the
for the married one, I would say it's easier when you are taking like master's program, PhD, than the undergrad part of it. So if you're a master's student and your family is here, you're not going to really feel that stress compared to if you're an undergrad student.
I see.
Oh, yes. So that's what I'm going to say, because you can't compare master's tuition with undergrad tuition. Most of the time, they are fully funded or half funded scholarship. Yeah. They have access to grant more. Like for master's students, and their program is usually 2 years. Compared to undergrad that is 4 years, and the tuition increases every year. Yeah. The higher your course, the higher your tuition. Like I said, imagine taking 3 classes for 5,000. Just know you're going to be taking more, you're going to pay more. So the higher your course, the higher the money. So I think it's really not the same, for family, that if they are like taking, graduate programs like the master's and PhD, it's a bit.
I feel for married it will be easier because the husband has a work permit, remember? So he gets to work maybe full time. If it depends on the spouse that is a student. So if the spouse is lucky enough to get a good paying job, not just the minimum wage, probably, that will really boost. And the student can still work, has the same 20 hours. So definitely, like apples to oranges. It will definitely be easier on the married than maybe the single. But also remember that there are many dynamics to it.
Exactly.
If the married student has 2 kids that are toddlers, below 5, then remember childcare is also another factor that's going to eat deep into their finances. Then health insurance, because as an international student, there are some things you don't have free access to if you're in Canada, that you're not covered for compared to a permanent resident or something like that. So it all adds up. If the single student is able to get a good, let me not say 100% good, but a good job that can keep up with the bills, that person too might still be better off than the married. So it depends on the dynamics, in my opinion.
I know of a lady, and she was an undergrad, and she came without her husband. She had to defer her admission.
Oh no, that's a big mistake.
She was almost going bonkers. So it makes a lot of sense now listening to you. She just deferred it. She said, because she also has young kids, and I engaged her one time, and she was
an international student too.
Yeah. So you know the way it is. Sometimes people get the student visa, and then the work permit doesn't follow the timeline, and you have to come. And so she came ahead of her husband, and she had, I think, 2 kids that were under 5. She just couldn't cope, so she deferred. So again, I was asking, how did it affect your mental health? Did you need to go see a guidance counselor, or did it affect your mental health?
Affected me mentally because, like I said, I wasn't able to balance both very well. And I wasn't able to meet with any counselor, to be very honest. I had to deal with it myself. It's as time went on, I was able to handle them. Yeah, so it got to a point, I was always talking out loud because it has gotten to a stage where, like, okay, this girl, you need to, like, calm down. So I was always, talking out loud, speaking up loud. And I didn't even know I was talking.
When you say talking, were you having
talking to myself?
Talking to yourself?
Yes, like I don't know. I was saying, like I was speaking out my thoughts out, and I didn't know. I didn't realize that my roommate had to, like, oh, Queen, what did you say? I was like imagine you're thinking something and you're saying it. Yes, because like I said, I couldn't manage it very well, so it was affecting me. That was its own side effect. Me speaking out my thoughts loudly, and I did not realize. I was doing that.
To that level. I want to ask a question. Did you get any support system in going through all this? Because I feel a support system really help.
Like I said, I was pretty new. I didn't really know who to really ask for. It was just my...
Like family, friends. Did you have any...
Well, okay. But there was one of my family friends that she usually come check in, but I was this quiet person that don't want to, speak up, like tell them whatever you're going through until I get used to you, until I know you before I'm able to, open up, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I was able to manage it. I was able to, I had to lock up, I wasn't reaching out, speaking to anybody. I had to take a break. And then when the semester was over, I think I was able to, reevaluate everything, take my time, take a break, write things out. As time went on, I was able to, and then I had few church members. I was able to speak to them, and they were able to support me in that area. Like, okay, Queen, take one step at a time. Even though you're not able to do this one, just cut this one off. If your work is stressing you, don't worry, you're going to pay tuition. We know the tuition exactly. You're going to pay your bills, that kind of thing. So I think church was very helpful then, because I think there was somebody I was able to talk to.
So would that be your recommendation? Because I want you to speak to our viewers. Do you think that during the process, getting an external help to help you go through all of this phase, do you think it's a good thing to do? Make friends, go to church, or whatever works for you as a way to cope with the challenges?
Okay. So I'm going to use myself for example. I would say I'm an ambivert. I'm one kind of person that sometimes I want to enjoy my space. Sometimes I want to meet people. But regardless of which part you fall into, either introvert or ambivert or extrovert, I would say when you're able to connect with somebody, you should try to speak up. You may not really go into details. You don't need to say everything. just share one or two things and see how that person can support you. And if you're a Christian, try and find any local church around you, because churches here are very, very helpful. Trust me. To an extent, they are very supportive. Everybody may not support you, but you'll find that one good person there that's willing to walk through that journey with you. Okay, so if you're here, you're new, you're like, oh, if you used to be a Christian back home, I come here like you don't want to go to church because of school and work, please try and find one for yourself. Okay, yeah, church is actually a very good community where you get real support, help. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
And so,
I'll add to that. Sorry, Enzo. Even if you are not into church,
I wanted to
you can also
to church, yes,
to any community,
like friends,
yes, in Muslim community, ethnic community, fellow nationals that you think you can easily relate to it, so that I will understand where you're coming from and can give you advice. Don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone, true.
And if you find, I would just want to add that if you find a relationship in someone that's not even from your country, you can. I have a colleague, because she was just telling me, oh, I need to, like, a second mom, that it's her second mom's birthday. She's Chinese. So I said, oh, your second mom? I was curious. I said, oh, those were my parents in Canada. Like, because she came in as an undergrad too. And she said, so I asked her, did you know each other? But she said no, that she met them in Canada and they were welcoming.
Canadians.
Yeah, they're Canadians. And they were welcoming. And so she's like, they practically nurtured her. And when, so it doesn't have to, don't limit yourself to, that's my advice.
Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit to that too. I remember this Indian friend I made is a guy. So then because I didn't come with a computer or a laptop from Nigeria, so he was very, very helpful. Then, like I said, my course was a paper-based course. Like I was always writing papers. Long story short, this guy always sees me in the library, like, oh, Queen, you're always in the library, staying till this time, what's going on? And then I had to like tell him what's up. And then he was very supportive. Like he had to take me. The library closes at 9 p.m. Okay. And once it closes, you have to leave, So he had to take me to a computer building where this place stays open till later at night, like 12 p.m. And then I had to take the last bus, which is like 12:16 a.m. So he was very supportive. He had to reach out. He got to a point he had to even give me his, device for me to use. So, like, just like what they said, don't limit yourself. He's an Indian, like, hello. And he was very, very supportive. He followed me, helped me with past questions. Like, he was one of the good friends I made here when I newly came in. He knew I was taking economics. He helped me with past question papers. So speak up. Like I said, speak up, reach out. Whoever you find yourself, we just try and open up, okay? Like I said, you don't need to go into detail, just share one or two things and then see how they can support you. And if they're not able to support, that's okay. Whoever you find yourself, we just try to be a bit vulnerable, because if we don't speak up, there's no how we're going to help you or know how to support you. Yep.
Awesome. That point is so much important because, well, back from where we came from, people tend to be like, they keep things to themselves. Yeah. They feel they don't want to be vulnerable. Yeah. They don't want to like expose their weakness to people. Yeah. You want to act strong, but you are dying within, you are struggling, and you don't want to like open up. Yeah. And people asking, how is everything? Oh, it's good, but you're struggling. So like Queen said, open up. And that's what this is all about.
That's so good. So viewers, if you're still watching up to this point, and you've not hit the subscribe button or the like button, what are you waiting for?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.